Welcome to Absolute Power with Matt and Brian. What's up, Matt?
What's up, Brian? Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. What have you been checking out this week?
Thinking about a lot of things. And we started off with Steve Bannon and Gavin Newsom.
Did you watch that? Did you watch that podcast?
Sure did.
Did you actually?
No.
Well, I think I listened to 2 episodes. He dropped 2 this week. He did one where Gavin Newsom interviewed Charlie Kirk, and whenever he would push back, he would do this kind of move, and he was just like, "I just want to like push back and do." But yeah, this weird hand thing. But I thought that it was smart to him have Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon both come on the pod and just kind of not really push back, but just talk with them for an hour.
Did he have good points? I've never heard him say a word, I don't think.
Gavin Newsom? Yeah. Really? He's all over the place.
Yeah, just see pictures.
I think people walk away with the feeling that people call him slick. They're always like, hey, after the interview, Charlie Kirk went on on Hannity's podcast, and he was calling him slick. And it's because he never really answers the question, and he's smooth enough that I think he could probably be president.
What does he believe in?
Oh, nothing.
Just slickness.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in anything, for sure. He will say, I think, whatever he needs to say to get elected.
I kind of like that. It's like every politician. It's fine.
I think it's at least he's pretty transparent about it. Instead of having to root for him because of who he is personally, you just know that he'll do whatever he needs to do to win. That's the vibe.
I think my big problem is, he's from California. I don't like California. I don't like Californians. I'm not voting for him. You don't
like Californians?
There are exceptions, but pretty much, yeah, not a fan.
I think it's the one thing that he agreed with Steve Bannon about in California was that they don't call it the deep state, but that there is this clay layer of bureaucracy that keeps from things getting done. So he was kind of signaling that, maybe not everything that Doge is doing is bad, and that they have a version of it. What's one thing that I thought he did pretty well actually in the interview that made him not seem as radical as sometimes when other Democrats or liberals disagree with people like Steve Bannon, is that he would just kind of acknowledge that he agreed and just kind of move things along and not let them kind of make a big deal out of things. So with Doge, he was like, yeah, everybody agrees that the government should be more efficient anyway, and just kind of move it along instead of letting them, celebrate.
How is that different from the deep state? Same thing?
What?
Like the clay layer?
Yeah, that's supposed to be the deep state that prevents democracy, that doesn't let, when you actually want to get things done, there's courts, there's bureaucrats that prevent people from enacting the change that they want to change, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But I think he's got a good shot. I think he'll be one of the front runners.
So it's going to be like Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk types, and then who's next? Kamala? Others?
No.
Back and forth?
No, he did kind of look like he really wanted to throw some digs at Kamala they were talking about the they them commercial that Trump's for you, that she's for they them, and he just kept saying it was devastating, like a devastating attack that she didn't acknowledge. So that's where he I think he knows that he can distance himself from that, but like you said, he's got a track record in California. So if you don't like him already,
no, I don't like him.
You might not like him in the future. He's slick. Anyway, what else are you looking at this week?
else am I looking at this week? So when I was on my way over here, I read a cool little story about these two guys in Tennessee. They walked into a weed store / gas station with two pythons, and they used them instead of guns to commit armed robbery. They just put the snakes on the counter, and they're like, "Give us all your weed oil," and it worked. They got away with it.
Where was this, in Nashville?
Yeah.
Wow. So they use snakes as weapons.
Yes.
And an armed with snakes.
Armed with snakes.
That's pretty ingenious. And nobody got hurt?
Nobody got hurt. They weren't even venomous snakes. They couldn't really hurt you.
They couldn't do Where did they get any footage?
Yeah, they did. Just two seemingly teenagers with snakes in a gas station.
Do you think you would recall somebody's bluff if they had their hand under their sweater?
No way. You can have whatever. Yeah. I don't have anything worth fighting for. Do
you think that the guy knew that it was a snake stick up?
Oh, they weren't hidden. They were out holding snakes.
Oh, okay.
They knew exactly what it was.
You knew this would be a new trend, the snake stick up?
If I would definitely do a snake mugging, they can have my wallet. I'm not risking that. Snakes are kind of scary.
Yeah. But I wonder, where they just got weed cartridges? Yeah. They didn't steal any money?
Just weed cartridges, is my understanding.
Yeah. This might be a one-time thing, maybe.
Maybe, but they took the snakes with them. They're ready to go.
Sorry.
Also, if you work in the weed / gas station, and someone comes in with a snake, and give all your money, am I going to die for this gas station full of cartridges?
But if it was in Nashville, that means, wasn't it Delta 8 or one of those THC derivatives? Have you ever smoked that?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it feels like chemicals. I'm sure there's chemicals in the weed we smoke now, but it felt off when I've tried it.
Yeah, no, I want chemicals to make my weed as strong as possible, but not to make it okay to ship across state lines. I don't care about that.
When you say as high as possible, what do you how uncomfortable do you think? How are we talking?
I want to approach the point where I can't speak, but I don't want to cross that line. I want to stay verbal, but sort of be looking over the edge.
What? And why? Because that makes you feel good.
Yeah, because it's chill as fuck.
But is it turning your brain off, or are you actively paranoid?
A little bit of both. Bit of both.
You like being on the edge.
I like the paranoia for sure.
Yeah. Do you mix it with caffeine?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Zyn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're just looking for a jolt.
So yeah, you take the bong rip, you throw in a Zyn, and then you drink your coffee and watch YouTube or something. It's a great way to start your day.
And just watch 4 hours of YouTube.
Yeah.
Are you a big YouTube watcher?
Huge YouTube watcher.
I've noticed my I think average YouTube time probably steadily climb up the last year or so.
The algorithms got me in a weird place where it's a lot of podcasts I've never heard of and aren't interested in. Not that you shouldn't be checking out new podcasts. And just dog videos. Dogs are chill, but I'd like to be learning something.
What kind of dogs?
It's really videos that I imagine are for old ladies where someone finds a dog down by the train tracks and then they adopt them and they're best friends. That I fall for that every time.
Are those Dodo?
The Dodo, yeah.
The Dodo produced. Yeah. This dog lived trapped in a cage for 9 years. This is the first time it saw sunlight.
Yeah, exactly.
You think that stuff is real?
I don't know. Probably not, but it still gets me.
Soon there will be AI generated Dodo.
Well, some
content.
of it's definitely fake.
You think so?
Well, no. I get these videos with the AI voiceover thing where he'll be describing a cat or a ferret or whatever animal. I'm like, that's a video of a chicken. Like, this is just made up.
Are they like a nonprofit dojo?
I have no idea.
What kind of?
Maybe a conspiracy. Big
Who's
dog.
making money?
Someone.
Because they buy ads, don't they?
Yeah.
So you're watching the ads?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of on the line between ad and content.
Yeah. Do you ever get recommended? Sometimes it recommends weird stuff to me. Like if I watch too many workout videos, or I watch usually when comedy and politics start to overlap, next thing you know, it's like Jordan Peterson content or stuff like that.
I get a lot of the Jordan Peterson kind of self-improvement stuff that I'm not interested in.
Yeah.
What I've been getting a lot of that I really love lately is these videos where like these big girls will go through what they eat in a day, and then like some sort of fitness guy will be like, I approve, I don't. I'm like, listen, no offense to these ladies, don't lie to me, right? Like, you're not eating like a small bowl of oatmeal and one taco and a salad. Like, you weigh 350 pounds. You started the video with that fact. Like, you're not eating 1,000 calories a day.
Wait, that's what they tell you? This is my diet?
Yeah, like, oh yeah, I'm 400 pounds. This is what I eat in a day. And then it's so little food.
And it's so little that there's no way that's what they could actually be eating. Like, you count your calories?
No, but like I could just
know.
look at this and be like, oh yeah, like I eat more than them and I weigh less than half of what they weigh, so they're eating something else.
That they're not telling you on camera.
Yes. And everything they eat is super healthy.
Yeah, so it's fake.
Something's not adding up.
Yeah. Have you seen this YouTube channel Jubilee?
No.
You don't know about it?
Yeah.
I've discovered it this week. It's crazy that sometimes you can discover channels or they get recommended to you that already have millions of views. Obviously, that's how the YouTube works. But just to think about how much content you haven't seen. But anyway, I got recommended this Jubilee channel where they do mostly two different types of formats. One is called Surrounded, and so the gimmick is one conservative surrounded by 20 Democrats, or one atheist surrounded by 20 Christians. But then the other one I think is more fun. It's called Middle Ground, and they'll have 5 people. It'll be like fit men versus fat men.
Okay.
And then they'll prompt them, and they'll prompt them with stuff like being fat is a choice. And then they all come out and sit, and then they all debate it. But some of the people that they have on there are obviously outrageous on purpose. So the one I was watching, this guy comes on and he was like, that fat people just like by existing, that they're offensive and bad for society. And that's how he opened the debate.
So to find middle ground.
Yeah, people are going in there real hot. But he was wearing a shirt promoting his podcast, so they're just it's on purpose.
So what was his take? Why are fat people bad for society?
He was saying
resources.
Yeah, I think it was that he started off by saying that you control everything that goes into your body, so that you're by being fat, you show that you have no discipline, and that you're a net negative on society.
Well, counterpoint. I'm very thin, but I also have no discipline and may in fact be a net negative on society. I'm not adding a ton.
Yeah, there's the flaw.
There are some useless skinny people for sure.
Yeah, and I think somebody made that point. You can be naturally skinny or fat, but it doesn't necessarily indicate how much.
And
how useful you are.
Naturally fat. There are some really fat people. It's unnatural.
Yeah, so they got into that. I think in the whole episode, there's 5 or 6 prompts, and so they have that. They had black conservatives versus white liberals. That one was funny. This one was crazy. 5 conservative trans people versus 5 liberal trans people.
What are the conservative trans like?
They're, I think they were all women, trans women, but I think they were all, like frustrated with being lumped in as liberals. They were like, we don't all think the same, which is fair. So I thought that one was actually pretty thoughtful. The trans conservatives versus trans liberals, because I think they did actually start to find some common ground.
Did the black conservatives make the white liberals look kind of dumb?
On some on some things they did, but I mean that was like another one too where they were, I think, like they were talking about affirmative action and whether affirmative action has served its purpose, and it was kind of like split 50-50. Some on the conservative side, like, yeah, they were saying that it does, affirmative action can put a target on your back, because people are like making assumptions, and that it can be discriminatory, especially against like Asians. So yeah, I mean, they made a strong case for why they thought it was it may be like past its usefulness. But then white liberals were also making the same argument, because somebody said like, well, it should be on socioeconomic grounds, the diversity that's enforced, by affirmative action. And then I think it was like a white liberal who was saying there should be like nothing, just like all merit based, and that's the stuff that, Trump was saying in his speech. So it was, a while back I read an interesting book. You read New Jim Crow?
No, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so I mean, she makes a case for why affirmative action it's flawed in that it leaves a huge class of people who are convicted of crimes as like outside of people who benefit from affirmative action. Basically, that when you go to jail and you have something on your permanent record, it now becomes legal to discriminate against you, like for an apartment, like, have you been to jail? And jobs, sometimes you have to check boxes, so that affirmative action is, I think she calls it like a racial bribe, and so that it helps like the top people in, like that class move into like the, top 1% or top like economic class, but then it doesn't solve like kind of like like bigger problems, so like basically it diversifies the ranks of like the richest people, but then still doesn't really help like poor people that much. It's more complicated than that, but it was a good book. Like, it's interesting, yeah, from her perspective, just around how the deck does kind of get stacked against you when you go to jail, in that everything becomes like 10x harder.
It's not that unfair though, right? Like, all things being equal, if you're going to help the person who hasn't gone to jail or the person who has, and you can only help one person, it's not like the craziest thing to think like, oh, I'm going to help, like they deserve it more because they're not a felon.
You're saying like about affirmative action?
Yeah. Or about like this sort of discrimination. Like, not that I'm a landlord, but if I was and I had to pick between two potential tenants, like that's a useful piece of information, I think.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like but then, yeah, what do you do with those people, right? Like, because I think it ends up being like, if you get convicted of something, and let's say you are doing 7 years in jail or in prison, and then you get out and there's nowhere for you to live, like what's the actual solution for that? And so that, like, there has to be some kind of housing that either doesn't discriminate against it, or, it's delicate, because it's like, yeah, people want to know if they're going to rent their house to somebody with like a rap sheet.
Yeah, like, do you ever look up like your address on the sex offender registry?
Oh yeah,
it's insane.
It's full, yeah.
There's so many.
Yeah, but so I don't know. Have you heard that this rumor that Diddy's lawyers are angling for Trump to pardon him.
No, I didn't hear that.
I think it's,
on what grounds?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh no, you know what? Sorry, I was confusing him with Sam Bankman-Fried because they're at the same jail. He's angling for a pardon from Trump.
Does he have any money left to make a bribe?
I feel like he's got some crypto stashed away. Like that guy Ross Ulbricht, the Silk Road guy.
Yeah.
You know about his story?
He just got pardoned.
Yeah. He, I think, at that time was processing, I think, close to billions of dollars in payments on the site. And this was in like 2013.
I bought some weed off the Silk Road.
Did you?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was pretty cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you buy it in crypto?
Yeah.
And what, Bitcoin?
Mm-hmm. And like...
What do you think that weed would be worth right now?
I don't know. It was like a couple $100 worth of crypto in 2013, 2014. So like a couple 100,000, over $1 million. I don't know. A lot.
What was the price of crypto when you first heard? Of Bitcoin when you first heard about it?
I think it was under $1. It was like very, very
It was
cheap.
under $1?
I heard about it in like 2012, 2013, like when it was fairly new. I don't know. It was cheap. I should have bought some.
I first heard about it was $100. I was sitting in a job interview, and this guy was telling me that he was gifting his friend $100 worth of Bitcoin, like one Bitcoin at $100, as kind of a gag. And I remember thinking, like, damn, this guy's got $100 to just throw away on Bitcoin. I wish I had that kind of money. This was 2013, summer 2013, fall 2013.
I remember there was like a Bitcoin ATM at the CVS.
Those still exist.
I should go buy some Bitcoin, and I never did. Except to go to the Silk Road.
Have you ever bought crypto?
Yes.
Did you make money?
Mm-hmm. But then I sold it, and I should have held it.
It's only a loss if you sell, baby.
That's true. But I mean, I didn't take a loss. I just could have taken a bigger gain. I almost doubled my money.
You know how you could probably quadruple your money is if you get into meme coins.
Tell me about
Have you heard about meme coins?
Not really. I've heard what they are. No, I haven't really heard.
It's I think right now, like the Wild West of, potentially, it's just outright gambling, meme coins. And there's these sites that basically are just constantly launching tokens. One is called pump.fun. And so you go on pump.fun and you basically just see, if you go to the site, it's like very frenetic. The whole thing is just like tickers updating and there's a lot going on. It feels like you're staring at like a stock ticker or something. There's so much activity, but people are launching new coins, and with each new coin launch, there's like all these set of tools that you can use to analyze the launch of the coin, like to determine how many insiders own a percentage of the coin to see whether you're about to get rug pulled. Mm-hmm. And anyway, there are like tens of thousands of coins launched a day. And so you're basically like betting a few cents or a few dollars on the stream. And then sometimes it's like something pick up and you might make a couple, people make like $20,000, $30,000 and then they sell it all. So it's a pretty crazy way to invest in crypto.
Okay. Are you bought in?
No way.
When are we putting out the Absolute Power coin?
You want to do an Absolute Power coin? What would you get with it? That's the thing with these tokens. People buy them, but then what do you do with them? Like all the people who bought the Trump coin, how much Trump coin did you buy?
I didn't buy any.
Come on.
All right, I bought some.
I think I think a lot of people who bought Trump coin were like in China. I think it's like a big money laundering scheme. At that scale. That's why the guy who launched Melania coin, he's wanted in Argentina. I think they just announced that they're looking for him. He's under investigation.
Where is he?
I don't know.
It's pretty cool.
But he launched the Libra coin in Argentina that I think was also a pump and dump.
That was like the economy, though, that he pumped and dumped.
Yeah. He's been in office for a year now, Javier Milei, and so he's had a year under his belt. That inflation is lower, but it seems like poverty is still pretty high out there. I don't know how the Libra coin is supposed to help fix that, but
I think we should call them Clunbucks, our coin.
Clunbucks?
And I'll let you redeem a Clunbuck. You can spend 10 minutes in my apartment at any time.
How far in it? Like an in-person cameo?
Yeah. 10 minutes.
Do you guys interact?
If you want. If I'm home.
Oh, they could, even if you're not home?
Yeah, we'll set up some sort of code.
Is that... What tier on the Patreon should that be?
I would say that's worth 10,000 Clunbucks.
And what's the exchange rate on the dollars for Clunbucks?
That's not for me to decide. That's for the market to decide.
Okay. I didn't realize you were such a free market fundamentalist.
I would say a Clunbuck is worth about $6.
What are your economic beliefs, man? What's your economic policy?
Well, one thing I realized was like I have a degree in economics and virtually no understanding of how the economy works.
Right.
I was a very poor student of the economy. I really don't have any strong views. I don't get it.
What was the best economic theory you remember learning about?
I really wasn't paying a ton of attention.
You don't know about all the schools? You don't remember all the schools that they all have good? They do all have cool names,
like Keynes and Friedman, and
the
Marx
Austrians,
and whatever. Yeah,
the Chicago Boys.
The Chicago Boys is a cool name. I
right?
do remember the Chicago Boys. Yeah, well, it's all fake, right? Like they all say they have it all figured out, and then like every 20 to 30 years, it becomes apparent that no one has figured it out, and the market collapses.
So what would you call your school of thought?
Pessimism.
What kind of policies, pessimism do you think? What would you, in a Clune administration, what are the top priorities?
Oh man, the Clune administration is going to have to go on the Patreon. I've got a lot of wild ideas if I'm in charge. Mostly not economic though.
All right, we'll save that for the Patreon.
I'm going to improve the quality of life.
Find out more on the Patreon. Did you hear about the second Democratic House member to die this month? Just died this week?
I saw that. Is there a story here? They both seem pretty old. Like
they're both old, yeah.
Is someone killing them, or they're just old?
One had cancer. Maybe both had cancer. They were both pretty sick in their 70s. And I don't know. I think it's a good. It perfectly captures just the state of how sad and pathetic and old they all are. Did you watch the Senate vote? Hear about the Senate vote on Friday? So they were voting for a budget, and the House voted for it. I think I don't know exactly what's in the bill, but the Democrats had the votes to stop it, but then they didn't really do anything about it. And so people are pissed because Schumer basically rolled over on the bill and at least that I've read, I don't know what kind of concessions they got out of it. So people are frustrated. The Democrats had an opportunity to shut down the government like Republicans have in the past, and just to make it actually look like they're doing something, and they chose not to.
Maybe next time they'll do something, or pretend to look like they're doing something.
Well,
saving their juice.
Well, I think it's a good, from the State of the Union a few weeks ago, it's a good show of like, those people are out there wearing different colors and doing signs and making a big show. But then when it comes down to actually doing something,
they have no idea what to do.
Like wielding, like they literally kept the filibuster so that they could have a voice as the minority party. and then they didn't do anything.
Filibuster. I'm going to run to the bathroom. Sorry. Too much coffee.
The topics, I realized I don't have them because it's on my phone. Yeah.
I think we need to do a good job of picking less depressing topics next week.
Yeah, probably.
Fire it up.
Let's pick it up. Yeah.
Some like Vic. Like, damn, the walk sucks.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some more upbeat things. What do you think?
Yeah. What do we have?
Did you watch the Meghan Markle show debut?
Only the clips Tim Dillon posted, and I concur that she looks like she may be insane.
I only listened to it. Does she actually seem really, really crazy?
She's got a real bug-eye situation.
Uh-huh.
When my 10th grade English teacher, she had to get this like surgery to release the pressure behind her eyes because she's always like this.
She looked like a pug?
Megan, yeah, for real. Like Megan's a candidate. Is crazy.
And what do you think about her? What do you think it is about her eyes, like the look in her eyes, that makes it
It's
so
like,
scary? Unsettling, maybe.
It's unsettling. It's kind of like an anime character. Like her eyes are too open and big. It's unnatural looking.
Yeah.
She's got like the crazy person no blink vibe going on also. Like she has to remind herself to blink.
Yeah, like and have emotions.
Yeah.
Do you think she's robotic?
No. I think she's like very, very human, but like a crazy person.
Why do you think Harry's not in the show?
I don't know what
They're heading for Splitsville. You think
he can't divorce her.
You
Where's
think
he gonna go?
you think she broke him?
Yeah. I think he might have come broken.
Yeah,
It's not like he was a high performer before she met him.
True. Did he kill people in the Middle East?
He probably hunted people like, with his brother and whatnot, but I don't think he killed them in like Afghanistan at war.
Didn't he serve out there?
He was a helicopter pilot, I think.
Yeah.
But it was like a...
It's like a tour guide?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Sorry, Harry, if I'm, stealing valor.
Sorry. Dude, is stealing valor a phrase that you heard before this year?
Yes.
I've never heard
You've never seen a stolen valor video?
No, what is that?
Oh, dude, you got some homework to do. So there are these guys who, it's kind of like the, pedophile patrol videos.
What is that?
Well, that's another thing. Where like it's what's the one with Chris Hansen? To catch a predator.
Yeah.
Well, now there are all these guys on YouTube who are like trying to catch predators on their own. There's one that's like Southeast Texas Pet Patrol. It's got like a huge red beard.
These are vigilante.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like the problem with it is like, oh, like we all want to be like, oh yeah, we're locking these guys up. They're all like a little retarded.
Which guys?
I think both
stories
where it's like,
okay.
I want to look down on these people, but like they're defective. It's punching down. It's rude.
Okay. So it's like if cops were even like Cops, the TV show, it's like ride along style.
No, it's like they'll like impersonate. Like a teenage girl or boy.
Okay.
Then, like, lure these guys.
They beat the shit out of them.
Just be like in the Walmart parking lot, being like, "You're a pedophile." But these guys all have like 80 IQs. It's mostly just sad. It's not like
are they actually pedophiles?
What?
Are they actually pedophiles? Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, they're just like dumb vigilantes.
Yeah.
If Batman were poor.
Exactly.
Do you?
If Batman were poor.
Do they? If Batman were poor, he would be out here busting crimes in Walmart parking lots.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about how Batman... Doesn't Batman kind of like create all the problems? Like, wouldn't the Joker not do all these things if there wasn't a Batman to kill?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't like Gotham City overwhelmed by crime. It's like how his parents died. It was going on before he started.
That's true, yeah.
That being said, like, I don't like vigilantes. I'm not necessarily on Team Batman.
But you are these vigilante pedo guys.
No, I'm not. because they're just picking.
What
up
are they called? What are they
idiots.
called? The pedo patrol.
Ped Patrol.
Ped patrol. Anyway, I don't know how we got from Meghan Markle to the Ped Patrol.
Oh, same thing. Like, you can't judge the Ped Patrol. You can't judge Harry. Like, they're all.
Oh,
like,
right,
you know,
okay.
It's out of their hands.
Here's something that we should judge. You watch a lot of podcasts. If you're listening to this, you're probably listening to a lot of podcasts. And you've probably heard about BlueChew. BlueChew's the sponsor of the show and a lot of shows. And they're always promoting, this BlueChew for men. But they don't ever say the stuff that you hear on TV, like when they tell you that Viagra might cause suicidal thoughts or whatever side effects. They just say, like, BlueChew for a better sex life. You know what commercial I'm talking about?
Yeah, oh, for sure. A lot of commercials.
You buy BlueChew?
Never.
You ever thought about buying BlueChew?
No, not really.
I'm starting to think about, I hear it so often that I think in my brain, I'm starting to think like, wait, is everybody just on BlueChew?
I do wonder. I think a lot of guys our age are, but are
On BlueChew?
Yeah.
On the chew? But why would so many men our age need the chew?
We had a mutual friend in college who was on Viagra back then, not because he needed it, but because he thought it was awesome. And I think when you're on drugs like that for too long, you sort of become dependent on them. I think a lot of people
really?
have fallen into that.
But it
could
never
also be
backfired?
on, like, antidepressants or like all sorts of drugs that'll require the chew.
It never backfired, the chew?
I don't think so.
Because I've heard that a lot of emergencies that happen related to, like, penis-related emergencies.
Oh, were you like erect for more than 4 hours kind of a situation?
Yeah. Then they gotta give you a shot.
In your dick.
In your dick, yeah. To get rid of it.
We should find out what words we're allowed to say and not say for the next episode.
We can say whatever we want.
There. And
as long, well, I mean, I don't think BlueChew's going to be sponsored anytime soon.
how fucked up would your
if
dick
they
have
ever
to
do,
be for you to go to the emergency room?
what?
How fucked up would your dick have to be for you to go to the emergency room for it?
I think
I'd be embarrassed.
a lot of pain. No, I think anything painful.
What if it turned a weird color?
Depends on what happens 5 to 7 days later.
5 to 7 days.
I don't have health insurance. You can't just
Me neither.
be out there going to see doctors. You don't have health insurance?
No.
Did you think about signing up for Obamacare?
Honestly, I'm just too lazy. I understand there'll be some sort of tax problem as a result of this. That's
Not
next year's
anymore.
problem. Oh, not anymore?
No, they got rid of that. The tax if you don't have insurance. But it is. I tried to sign up for the exchange, Obamacare, and I ended up getting scammed.
Really?
Yeah, I got scammed trying to buy insurance because when you look up insurance around the enrollment period, what's it called? Open enrollment.
Yeah.
There are also a lot of companies that buy ads, and so despite me working in programmatic advertising for many years, I clicked on one of the ads, and it kind of seemed like a government website. And then next thing I know, I just put in my phone number, and then they started calling me, offering me. They weren't called health insurance plans. I think they were called health, like, benefit providers, or like some other combination of words that was not health insurance. And so that was the thing that tipped me off, because basically it's super cheap. It's like, no coverage, but it's still, I think, technically falls under some umbrella of insurance. But then nobody takes it. So you're paying, a couple $100 a month, and no doctor's going to take your insurance. So I was able to cancel it because they had a 30-day money back guarantee, but they got me. So
and now you're
I'm
just
uninsured.
waiting for October or whatever when open
Just
enrollment
raw
opens
dogging
back
it.
up.
Yeah, Medicaid is open year round, so we could get on Medicaid, but they are thinking about cutting Medicaid I think Trump's trying to cut Medicaid, so maybe not much longer.
Yeah, I thought I'd get a job sooner, but I don't really go to the doctor. we can't BlueChew until we get some
That's
health
right, yeah.
insurance in case.
Does BlueChew take insurance?
No. I don't think so. But I'm saying, like, what if you have an erection that lasts for 8 hours? Like, you're going to need to go get that checked out. You don't want your dick, like, exploding.
I don't know. Yeah, I think wait 5 to 7 days
5 to 7.
and see what.
That's all.
And see what
That's a
happens.
tough week.
What do you think about the 5-year anniversary of COVID right now? We're recording this on March 16th. We're just about 5 years from like the full lockdown. What did you learn?
It was all for kind of nothing, right?
It was a scam?
Well, I don't know if it was a scam.
Did it come from Wuhan?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Was it a lab leak?
Probably.
It seems like it, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, it was next to the lab.
It escaped from the lab.
It's
So it
either
did
that
come
or
from
they
the
ate
lab.
like a bat or a pangolin or some other animal that like
Seems
it
unlikely.
seems like more likely than like multiple people along the food chain are catching this disease from weird animals and it winds up in the food market, or it just escaped from the bioweapons lab across the street.
Yeah. Would you attend Fauci's trial?
I did a pretty good job, I think, of not paying any attention to COVID. I was
How
just like,
so?
okay, this is chill. I don't have to leave my apartment. I don't know what Fauci did. I don't know if he was right or if he was wrong. The masks, like, who knows?
Where were you?
That being said, lock them all up. I don't care.
Where were you when it was like when Cuomo made us all go home?
So I had... I missed the email that we were all working remote, and then like went into work that day. It was like March 13th or something.
Yep.
No one was in the office, so I like called in. I interviewed someone. I stole so much stuff out of my office.
Food or other items?
A lot of houseplants and some food.
Oh, you stole houseplants?
Oh, yeah.
They were gonna die. I
They were
guess.
gonna
Yeah.
die. And then I went home, and I haven't really left since.
Do you still have those plants?
Some of them, yeah.
We'll put them up on the Patreon
Okay.
for all our Patreon listeners.
Yeah. And then, yeah, just a lot of hanging around my apartment. 5 years of hanging around my apartment.
Do you still live in the same place?
Yeah.
As COVID?
I
When
moved
COVID?
in March 1st, 2020.
Wow, you lived in that same spot for
Yeah.
5 years? Damn.
Not for too much longer, I don't think. The building's in foreclosure anyway. I probably can't stay for that much longer.
Yeah. Could you squat?
Yeah, I think... I don't know exactly what the rules are. Of course I can squat. Like, what are they going to do? Kick me out? They're going to kick me out anyway.
Squatting laws are surprisingly pretty crazy. Have you know about, like, ever since COVID, they kind of amended squatting laws to make it more flexible for people not to get evicted, like mid-COVID. But it's kind of evolved into this thing where if people are in your house for too long without you doing anything about it, they get rights to stay there. There's a guy who's making a whole like YouTube channel off of kicking people out of squatting.
Yeah, I don't plan on squatting, but you know, you got to do, right? Better than being homeless.
Yeah. 5 years of COVID.
5 years of COVID. I've had COVID probably like 7 or 8 times. I got COVID so
Verified?
many times. It's
Dude,
been-
I've only ever tested positive for it, I think, twice.
I tested positive for it 4 work trips in a row.
Did you ever have the phase where you were like, if I get COVID, I'm going to fucking die?
Well, the first few times,
Yeah,
yeah.
right,
But then
like-
it's like, oh, like
I better get my affairs in order.
it's like 36 hours of a bad cold. I don't know. It was never that bad for me.
I was only really sick with COVID where I genuinely felt terrible, I think, once.
I felt very bad, but never for more than 2 days. I think I had it right around this time in the beginning. I remember trying to walk from my couch to my bathroom, and falling asleep on the floor because it was too far. And like, it's like from here to the refrigerator. It's not a long walk. And I fell asleep on the floor for several hours.
You don't think that's just because you're...
It had never happened before or since. So it could have been any number of things, but that was a bad sign. That was concerning for me.
Are you concerned about these measles outbreaks?
No. I'm with RFK.
Everybody should just get it.
All those people got it for other reasons besides vaccines. They're fat or something. Not taking good care of themselves.
Is measles a fat-born illness?
I don't know. I think that's what RFK was saying. Like, they just weren't taking good enough care of themselves.
If you just drink owl piss, you'll feel better.
Owl piss?
He likes owl piss.
For real?
I don't know. He I think that might just be a guy who impersonates him, Kyle Dunnigan.
How birds don't piss. The urea it crystallizes.
That's all RFK.
What?
You think you know better than RFK Jr.?
I'm like 99% birds don't pee. They just crystallize. They have uric acid crystals in their poop. Look it up, producer Big Cat.
How do you know that? How did you know that? Why do you know that?
I'm just, a multifaceted dude.
All right, we'll talk about it more on the Patreon. Do you think Stephen A. Smith is going to make a good president?
I have never watched Stephen A. Smith do anything. He seems like a provocative guy, though. Like, could he do as good a job as Trump? Like, for sure. He's just like pure entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like stir it up, Stephen A. Smith.
That's what he does best.
Yeah, I like it.
So, okay, you're voting for Stephen A.
Yeah, over Gavin, for sure.
All right. 2028 primary already shaking up here on Absolute Power with Matt and Brian. Matt, what do you think about this Snow White controversy? Do you know the backstory?
Yes. So Rachel Ziegler hates Israel and Gal Gadot loves Israel. And Peter Dinklage complained about the dwarves, so they cut the dwarves. And I believe there's like the prince doesn't save Snow White in this movie. Like maybe she saves the prince or something.
Oh.
Like.
Besides that's right. It's too woke.
It's something. I don't know. Was The Little Mermaid too woke? Who's watching these like actors in Disney movies? It seems very creepy.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen any of the live action remakes. No. I don't really know. Is it just to appeal to people our age with kids? You think?
I guess. If
I didn't know that
like you were going to watch Snow White, like you weren't taking like your niece or something, I'd be like, that's kind of creepy and weird.
Is it a musical?
I don't know.
I don't know anything about it. But I do think it's funny that now this is kind of like a form of marketing for these movies. Just the co-stars have to feud.
I also never heard of Rachel Ziegler. Like, I don't know what she's famous for. No idea. Do you?
She was in West Side Story.
Isn't that like 100 years old?
The Steven Spielberg remake, the recent one.
Oh, I missed that. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have any plans on seeing it. Did you see the Tesla showcase on the White House lawn?
Like everyone else, what's going on with Elon? Like, why does Trump think this is a good idea? Is he a scapegoat? 6 months down the road, is he like actually going to drain the swamp? I don't know.
It seems like now that there's investor pressure on Tesla, maybe something will change. In general, I think all the public opinion stuff, all the political, doesn't really matter until it starts to affect his businesses. Like, I was reading that, for example, with Tesla, they're going to get hit by tariffs. Something like 25% of the car needs imports from Canada and Mexico. But they manufacture the cars in California and Texas, Tesla does. GM and Ford manufacture the cars in Mexico. So they would get hit worse by the tariffs. So that they're willing to take a short-term hit if it totally kneecaps the other companies' electric car businesses. But it does seem like I own some Tesla stock, and I'm losing money on it right now. Not financial advice.
Tough couple weeks for the stock market.
The stock market is not good. It's not. It's the exact opposite of what Trump said it was going to be.
Yeah, it's like way worse than it was, and we all thought it was going to be way.
And Bitcoin is down. All the crypto. You heard about the crypto reserve?
No. What's the crypto reserve?
So they're trying to start a crypto reserve where the government buys a few different cryptocurrencies and keeps it in a reserve, like Bitcoin, Solana, Ripple, Ethereum, and the government will just keep. I think it's just basically to have the government indefinitely back cryptocurrencies, so that all the people who own a shitload of it, which is like, I think the largest concentration of these cryptocurrencies are in like a small percentage of wallets, right? So like it's held by a small group of people that is basically just like helping them liquidate all these assets with taxpayer money. That's my understanding. I don't think that's the way they would pitch it, but
I don't support it. I'm against it.
Yeah, I don't have any crypto holdings right now, but it has been down for the last couple of weeks, cryptocurrencies.
It was over 100 for a while.
Yeah. Post-election surge, babies. Post-election pump. You been on any planes lately?
No. And I'm not going to be for a while, I don't think.
Why? Because of all these crashes?
No, I just don't have anywhere to go.
There was one on fire this week in Denver.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what it has to do with DEI. I don't think it's DEI, but...
You don't think it matters that it was DEI Airlines?
No,
I'm kidding. It was American
you hear
Airlines.
so much like, oh, it's DEI. Like, I don't know. I've been on a lot of planes. I've never thought like, oh, like
it's too diverse in
whites
here.
are better equipped for this job.
That's the way you feel?
No, I'm saying
okay.
that's not how I feel.
Yeah, it does. Okay, yeah.
There's a lot of, especially at the New York airports, like you're not necessarily going to be dealing with like a white gate agent every time.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
You tolerate it, yeah.
I'm with it. That being said, like whatever's causing these plane crashes, they should look into it.
You know what else they're looking into is Gene Hackman's inheritance. You heard that they're fighting over it?
His kid? Does he have kids?
He has kids. He wrote them out of his will in the late 90s and was going to leave it all to his wife, but she got hantavirus and she's
what did the kids do to get written out?
I don't know, but yeah,
they deserved it?
They're suing to try to get in there. I think it's like a $60 million fortune, I think.
I think I might just be too young. I don't know what Gene Hackman did. I remember the Royal Tenenbaums. That's it.
Yeah. I remember him in that Heartbreakers.
I don't know what Heartbreakers is.
And he was in Not Any Given Sunday, the parody, The Replacements.
Oh, that was a pretty good movie.
He's the coach in that.
Yeah, with Keanu.
Yeah.
That was on TV a lot back in the day.
Yeah,
I've seen The Replacements quite a few times.
That's a classic, The Replacements. Matt, what are you paying for coffee these days?
Paid $7 today.
Jesus Christ. With milk or no milk?
No milk. 2 sugars, but the sugars were free.
No milk, $7?
$7.
How big was this coffee? It was 12 ounce?
Maybe 16.
16? Oh, you got the double gulp.
It was a big
You think you could drink a double gulp of coffee?
I drink, around 30 ounces of coffee every single day.
Okay, that's not a no. Sign up for the Patreon. Matt will drink a double gulp of coffee.
For sure. I'll chug it.
All right, Matt. Well, that about does it for Absolute Power this week.
Remember to like, subscribe, and comment. See you next week.
Wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Next week, we'll drop the Patreon link. Thanks for watching and listening.
Bye, everyone.